All right, so here's the payload. Here's the meat of the matter, right? Here's where the rubber meets the road. What is the correct answer for question one? All right, let's kind of run through them really quickly. Statement one says, the swing set analogy shows us that we need to listen actively and tune into users' needs. All right, we have lots of different understandings of the system. Clearly, there's a lot of miscommunication, which would probably be solved by a lot of active listening. Let's say that statement one is correct. All right, statement two says that developing and selecting software is easy and successful most of the time. Easy and successful. Well, we're seeing a lot of cases where, you have a system that is way overpriced. You have a system which just totally does not, which sort of does not meet the way the system was advertised. We have systems that are not, well, the documentation is non-existent. Just lots of different interpretations. Clearly, statement two is not saying that developing and selecting software is easy. So let's sort of put that in our back pocket for a little bit. Users never really know what they want, and we have to decide for them. Well, I'm gonna say no, because what we have here is, this is how the project leader understood it, right? This is how the analyst designed it. This is how the programmer wrote it. Clearly, it is not saying that we're supposed to decide for users, right? Let's look at this option. This option says what the customer really needed. Well, if we're supposed to be if we're supposed to be sort of deciding for our users, then why are we getting it so wrong in many of the cases? Let's go ahead and say that option 3 is not correct. All right, 4, it's easy to get a small fraction of the system functionality that we pay for. All right. Which part of the swing set analogy would address that? I would say that this part of the diagram certainly addresses that. The customer paid for a whole Six Flags setup and ended up with well, a piece of plank lying on the ground. Yeah, I don't think they're getting everything they paid for. So I think 4 is correct. It's easy to get a small fraction of what you paid for. 5 says there tends to be a big disconnect between users, systems analysts, and programmers. Absolutely. So I think we can see that 1, 4, and 5 are correct. 2 and 3 are not correct. All right. We have 3 correct responses. So that tosses out option E, right? In this case, we have 3 correct. We're supposed to have 3 correct responses, but we see where 1, 2, and 5, right? 1, 2, and 5 are supposed to be correct. Now, what this says is that 1 is not included in this. And because 1 is not included in this, and because it says 2, 4, 5 only, it excludes 1, and so therefore response B cannot be correct because it says in a very definite way that 1 is not correct. All right, let's throw out option B and E. All right, getting interesting. 1, 2, 3, not 5. Two problems here. Firstly, we decided that statement 5 is correct. Yeah. It therefore means that anything that says not 5 is a problem, right? And so that makes A and D drop out, right? Makes A and D drop out. All right, folks, we're left with 1 but not 2. At this point, you're gonna say, well, you gave me 5 statements and you only want me to make a conclusion about 2 of those statements. There's, this is kind of hard to swallow, quite honestly, but it is what it is. The fact that we are saying that statement 1 is correct, we need to listen actively, and statement 2 is incorrect, is all we need for option C to be correct. And option C is in fact the correct answer, right? Because 1 is correct and not 2. See, this is why I'm saying to you that you actually do not need to know all of the statements, whether all of the statements are true or not, in order to solve these multiple choice questions. You're going to be surprised by some of the answers, but don't get distracted by the answers which seem very sort of complete and complex and wholesome, right? Occasionally, you will come across some of these responses that are correct, which are literally making a statement about one statement, yeah? Simply saying that one particular statement is true or another particular statement is false and says nothing else about any of the other statements. But because it makes the assertion that only one of those statements are true, or only one of the statements is true, or it may say that only one of the statements is false, and it becomes the correct response. So that's it.